Elder Scrolls Online recently announced the Greymoor Chapter, which will take place in Western Skyrim, and I'm already looking forward to playing it. The new trial got me excited. The announcement was made in the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas and live streamed to all the major streaming platforms. The hype was real. People wanted to know what new features we are getting for the new chapter. Now the question we want to ask us today: were the expectations met? I'm Alcast from alcasthq.com. Please make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. First, let's take a look at the features that will be included in the Greymoor chapter and compare them to the previous Elsewhere chapter. Also, let me know your opinion about the Greymoor chapter. Are you excited? Have they missed something you really wished was in there? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's take a look at the Greymoor chapter. We get the new zone to explore. It's called Western Skyrim. And in there we get the new main story quest line, like always with a chapter. The story quest line is tied into the dark heart of Skyrim and is focusing on vampires. New world events, hero storms, these are basically dolmens from the base game. New delves, public dungeons and standalone quests. A new system called Antiquities, and then a 12-man trial. I will talk about these a little bit later more. The last thing they listed up: updates and quality of life improvements, including a rework of the vampire skill line. Now, this is a little bit sneaky advertisement in my opinion. Obviously, it is great that we get this. It was long overdue, but this is part of the base game and just the quality of life improvement. You don't need to buy Greymoor to actually get this. Let's compare this to Elsewhere and also ask ourselves a question, like what else is missing and were my expectations met? Because I can think of a few things that are missing and would have been really nice to come along with Greymoor. And I talked to a lot of other people that were also like, wait, we are not getting this? Both chapters had new zones, a main storyline. Greymoor has Hero Storm world events. In Elsewhere it was dragons. Then both chapters had delves, public dungeons and side quests. In each of the chapters we also got a new trial. They always get me excited because it's the main thing I do. And in Elsewhere we got the necromancer, whereas in Greymoor we get the antiquities system. And that's where the first big missed opportunity is, in my opinion, because no matter whether you are a PvPer, a quester, a housing guy, an explorer, or whatever, everyone was excited for the necromancer. However, most people I talked to were not excited about the antiquities system. They see it as a grind to get OP gear and that's about it. In my opinion, a chapter should get the whole player base excited, and that was the case with Elsewhere. Everyone wanted to play the necromancer, whether you're a PvPer or a PvEer, it didn't matter. With the antiquities system, that's different. Yes, most people still want it, but not because the system, the new feature is fun, but only because there will be OP gear in it, and if you don't have it, you most likely cannot compete. So that's the big difference. Necromancer was a new system, a new feature that you want to play because it's very exciting and rewarding. Whereas antiquities system is just like a means to get OP gear, and the system is probably going to be grindy. That is my opinion about the system. What I'm trying to say is Elsewhere managed to hook all players, the whole player base, whereas Greymoor did not manage to do that. And that's why I think they could have done a better job at explaining why it's fun for everyone, by showcasing the actual process and system maybe to get people hooked like they did with the necromancer. I have two more major missed opportunities, and that's like the champion points rework and the spec system. Before we start talking about these, I also want to showcase a few of the very nice improvements, because I totally think that the game is worth playing compared to last year. So much problems got resolved, trust me. So let's dive into that a little bit. Like they mentioned, the vampire skill line rework. Currently it's kind of like a soft skill line with only 2 active abilities, and after the rework we will get like 5 abilities, so it will be a full skill line. So that's very nice, and I'm already looking forward on like how they're going to change the abilities, passives, and just the overall feel of a vampire. And who knows, maybe that's already enough to get people back into the game. I am at least more excited about the vampire rework than the new antiquities system. One of the main contributors why people stopped playing was because of the poor performance. Servers had issues, the LFG tool was not working, a lot of bugs, crashes and all that. Now they released a performance roadmap and already implemented a few of these changes and they work really well. So overall the performance definitely improved. And they're not done yet. There will be more improvements over the whole year. And maybe probably even next year we get more because they're not done. They implemented the memory leak fix. They basically implemented that in the Dragonhold update 24. It had a few issues. It took them a while to properly get it to work, but now it finally works and it just seems to be so much smoother. Same for the LFG tool. Last year there were so many people queuing up, the system could not handle the load, whereas now they completely rewrote the code for that tool and it can handle way more load and it works more reliably 90% of the time. With update 25, the game will also have a smaller size because I think it's around 90 to 100 gigabytes and they will lower it by around 30 gigabytes on console and around like 15 to 20 gigabytes on PC. The only downside to this is you have to re-download the whole game. But afterwards this will speed up like rendering times when you walk outside of a city. You will not get these FPS drops anymore or less. So this is a good thing. A little bit annoying to re-download it, but overall it will be a good thing, trust me. There were also a lot of bug fixes over the last year. Basically more than we have seen in the last 3 or 4 years almost, at least that's how it feels. Let's talk about the other two missed opportunities. The champion points system. I feel like if there had been a champion points system rework, a lot of people would have come back to the game with Greymoor. Because the champion points system is the main reason why we have such a power creep in the game. In PvP, you can block forever, sustain is just crazy, healing is overtuned, barely anything dies. And in PvE you can burn through most of the mechanics because you have so much DPS in good groups. And for newer players it's also very annoying to see when you hit level 50 you're like, oh, what's that champion point system? Oh, I have to grind how much? So it's just not a very pleasant experience for the whole player base. They realized that, that's why they stopped increasing the limit that you can allocate champion points to your character. The question is just, when are we getting the rework? Have they even started working on it? So will it be a year or 2 years till we see it? For me personally, I'm a little bit torn. Obviously the sooner the better, but I also kinda want them to take time to get it right, because that game will keep going for another 10 years, 15 years minimum. And if they get it right now, even if it takes them another 2 years and the system will be more enjoyable, then that's even better. What is your opinion on the champion points system? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Why? Let me know in the comment section below. The last missed opportunity I want to talk about is the specs system. What do I mean by that? It's basically a system that lets you swap your setup with one button press. So for example, you're PvPing in Cyrodiil, so you have your PvP gear, your PvP skills, morphs, champion points allocation, whatever. And later you have a raid in PvE. At the moment, it is very annoying and it takes time, especially if you are new to the game. It's like, well, will I remember what I was wearing afterwards? And even if you're an experienced player, it can take you 10 to 15 minutes to change the champion points, all the morphs, the gear, the Mundus Stone, everything. So it's just a very annoying process. The spec system will basically completely eliminate this issue, so you can have one setup, 2 setups, 3 setups, and then choose between them. And even if so, maybe get more through the crown store, because they most likely want to monetize this as well, and I'm totally fine with that as long as I get at least 2 different setups I can pick from. I feel like this system is long overdue, especially on console where you don't have add-ons, so you have to do everything manually. On PC at least you have some sort of add-ons that lets you at least change the gear. But yeah, hopefully that thing, the sooner the better, and once again, it's probably going to come along with a chapter because they want to sell it as a new feature, and they could totally implement it as a mechanic that you have to unlock with your character progression, which actually would be nice. I'm just sad that we don't see it with the Greymoor chapter because it's long overdue. As a conclusion, I do think the Greymoor chapter will be nice for the game. So much performance improvements, new quality content. It's just not for everyone. And if they actually had implemented a champion points rework or a specs system, a lot more people that stopped playing would have come back. Make sure to subscribe and hit the juicy like button, it helps my channel, thank you very much. If you want to watch other videos, check them out right here. Thanks for watching and see ya soon, cheers.